guys, welcome to my channel. This is CodeFleet and I am Vinay. Today we're going to be talking about exceptions. In other words, you can say we're going to be talking about try and except blocks. So let's see what's the syntax of the try and except block, and or you can say exceptions. So the first keyword we will use in these blocks, it is try, and this is the normal syntax. And you can just put here any piece of code and as many as lines of code you want, and there after this the except block comes, and this is the where situation changes. In except blocks you can either define your own errors, or you can use the predefined errors. So here comes also statements, and the last block that you can use is finally, or you can use else here. And it doesn't matter whether try block execute or except block execute, but at the end of the day, finally or else block will be executed regardless the matter whatever happens in this piece of code. So here also comes some statements. So this is the syntax here. Okay, so let's try with the program. We're going to do try, and we're going to print something like everything is good. Okay, and then we are going to make an except block, and we are just gonna print something went wrong. If we will run this cell, what we're gonna get is everything is good, because the try block fails when there is something wrong in that block in the piece of the code, and then it goes to the except block. But in a print statement, everything is good, the entire piece of code is right, and there's nothing seems to be wrong here. So the except block didn't execute here. So but let's execute it. Let's try to execute the except block too. Let's make a variable here, a is equals to 1, and make a try block and print b. Try to focus here because we have not defined or initialized the variable b, but we are trying to print it nonetheless. So let's make accept block. Okay, here comes something new. After the except keyword, you can also write the error name, like we are entering a name error. There are so many keywords, and there are so many the same errors. You can say type error, or there are so many errors. You can just search them and try to use them after the except keyword. So just raise the error, raise name error. I'm going to tell you what this raise keyword does. So let's say variable doesn't exist. Now here's something that you should be remembering, that raise keyword raise the error. Whatever you want to raise, it will raise it like it's just going to print it in a more professionally way. So what it's going to do is here you are defining your own error, name error, and at last, if the variable does not exist, it's going to print okay, variable does not exist. It doesn't matter whatever you print here, whatever you just type here going to be printed in the name error when you will execute this code. So let's execute it, and here we have our name error, and as you can see, name error variable does not exist. This is the error that we ourselves defined. You can define anything you want, like let's say it's the predefined error, name b is not defined, and here we raised our own error, that is variable does not exist. And you can do so much with them. You can raise your own error. So let's try with something new here with the finally keyword. let's try and print this as try block, and now accept, print this is accept park, and now use finally. I'm going to show you something new here, like if you what happens if you use finally and else keyword together. So let's print final block is here. Okay, we printed. Okay, this statement is purely correct, so the try block executed and the except block did not execute, and you can see this is a try block here, it is printed, but as you can see that finally block is here too. This statement printed too, because it doesn't matter regardless of the situation with the try and accept block. It doesn't matter, finally block will be executed, it will certainly be executed at the end of the code. And if you use here else, it's the same. I mean else and finally, they both work fine, they both work same. But if you will do this thing here, like finally print blah blah blah, okay, so it prints here if you use else block here, but what will happen? Yeah, okay, why did it print that it is invalid syntax when I used the else at the end? I mean, yes, when I used the else before the finally keyword, it didn't have this error, but now it's showing that it is invalid syntax. Why? And just try to pause the video and try to guess, because this finally keyword ends this entire piece of code here, and this else keyword doesn't mean anything here, so it shows that it's error here, it's an invalid syntax. But if you will use it here before the finally keyword, it's just going to run it, and there is no error in this. So I mean, this is the only thing you can do. So much. You can also raise your own exceptions, your own errors, try to play with them. And this concludes the exceptions, and thank you so much. Keep visiting me. See you next time. Bye.